those?
Officer, I got one question for you. One of those! I got one question for you. One of those! What are those? Officer, I got one question for you. One of those! What are those?
Maybe it's the way you're dressed.
One of those!
Just downtown. Any questions?
I got one question for you. One of those!
We would like to buy some new shoes for Pepper.
Red shoes.
Red ones.
One of those!
The embryo.
Question for you. One of those! What are the?
Isn't this a bit over the top?
I got one question for you. One of those!
I have something to say. What is it, DW?
One of those!
George, do you like my new shoes?
One of those! I got one question for you. One of those!
Sarah.
I got one question for you. One of those! I got one question for you.
Who, me?
One of those! I got one question for you. One of those!
I've got a question for you.
What is it?
One of those!
What are those?
One of those!
And watch this, Mr. Krabs.
Can I take your order?
One of those!
Yes, Clyde.
One of those! I got one question for you. One of those! What are those?
Look at me! Shoot him! There's only one way to settle this. Look at your feet.
One of those!
Hey, SpongeBob! Want to see my new shoes?
One of those!
So kids can call them whenever they have questions.
I've got a question.
One of those!
Yo, Mike, you looking fresh as shit right now.
Thanks, Barney.
But I got one question for you.
One of those!
One question before you pass out. Tell me.
One of those!
I'm giving you a gift.
One of those!